Welcome to Sports Plaza. We're discussing the post-match analysis of RCB versus Rajasthan Royals. RCB losing their second match in a row. RCB का unique record भी बन गया है इस IPL में. Lowest total while batting first, lowest total while batting second. दोनों दो consecutive games में हुए हैं. Surely a lot of questions will be asked on the batting order. But Surya, I'll start with you, and that is the key question of the day as an opener. Were you surprised?
Um, I don't know if I can say I was surprised. It had to happen. The only thing was it should have happened from the very first game. The problem was because Kohli has now gotten to a rut. Suddenly now opening the batting and that too facing Trent Bolt, it obviously became a bit of a challenge. And I think the innings today summed up the fact that he's definitely looking out of touch because there were about 5 to 6 occasions where he could have been dismissed. So I think they should have started with Kohli as an opener right from the very beginning because that worked for them last year at least. Not as even if it wasn't the dominating 2016 Virat or even 50% of that. I mean, it wasn't as bad as it turned out to be. So I mean, and Kohli's numbers as an opener are better than his numbers at number 3. So it should have happened from the very beginning. There I durust hai shayad. They got to stick with this though for the rest of the tournament and hope that he comes good. But yeah, I mean there are concerns there. There are a lot of concerns with that batting lineup.
Definitely, we'll come to the batting order. Farhad, आपसे भी पूछ लेते हैं. कोहली the hot topic as usual for all Indian fans. आप खुश थे जब वो ओपन करने आए?
ओपन करने आया खुश था, बट जैसे खेल रहा था बिल्कुल भी खुश नहीं था. ये मतलब it is, I think, if I would be not even exaggerating if I say he's a pale shadow of himself. He's not even that away. So I think he's very cluttered in his mind. I think he needs a break. And break का मतलब ये नहीं कि एक सीरीज अच्छा खासा break, 1 month, 2 months, just to clear your mind out and then come back.
और आप
क्योंकि if
कहते
he
हैं
goes
आईपीएल के
on
बीच
pushing
में या
himself,
आईपीएल के बाद?
दैट इज फॉर हिम टू डिसाइड, राइट? आईपीएल भी छोड़ोगे तो कोई उसको बोलेगा नहीं कुछ. अब छोड़ दो हाफ ऑफ द आईपीएल, या तो फिर मतलब फिर एट द कॉस्ट ऑफ इंटरनेशनल मैचेस. बट इफ ही डजंट वांट टू टेक अ ब्रेक, एंड अगर वो अपनी ईगो पे लेता है कि नहीं मैं मतलब आई कम बैक, ही मतलब डेयर आई से एटलीस्ट इन T20 मतलब ही कैन बी ड्रॉप्ड आल्सो. ये नहीं चलेगा. मतलब ये ऐसी बैटिंग तो मतलब कतई नहीं चलेगी. And I don't know. I mean, somehow I don't want to be too critical because every player goes through that form. We understand that, but इसका solution भी आपके पास है. कि you're cluttered. Even Ravi Shastri said he is overcooked. तो वही है कि you need to understand that part and respect that part of the game as well and come back fresher. And just don't do anything उसमें. ना तो Instagram करो, social media से तो दूर ही रहो वो time पे. Just switch off your phone. तो ये सब
Well,
है.
there's
I
been
don't
so
know. I
much
mean, अभी
talk
तो
about Kohli. पर फरहाद, दिक्कत इसमें क्या है? If he misses international matches, मतलब international matches में रेस्ट लेंगे तो criticism आएगा कि आईपीएल खेल लिए, इंडिया के लिए रेस्ट ले लिया है. अभी
नहीं तो
रेस्ट
बट आप
लेंगे
क्या
तो इशू
करेंगे?
आएगा कि यार टी
नहीं तो आप क्या करेंगे?
सॉरी
आप फॉर्म को बीट आई एम सेइंग, आप फॉर्म को बीट करने के लिए आप करेंगे क्या फिर? बिकॉज दिस इज क्लियरली नॉट गोइंग टू हेल्प हिम एट ऑल,
नहीं स्टोरी
राइट?
वाइज आई नो आई अंडरस्टैंड दैट सो Surya, are you happy with what Farhad said? He needs a break, and if yes, during the IPL or during Indian duties?
It's a catch-22. I mean, I think everybody said that he's overcooked and he probably does need a break because I think today's innings probably put it into perspective. The last game he got a very good delivery of Marco Jansen. The one before that it was a bit of an ugly shot, you can say. It was of Dushmanta Chamira against Lucknow, but today pretty much summed it up. That yes, he's just not looking in any sort of rhythm. The thing is, when he's on the field, he looks absolutely as good as ever. He's still plucking stunners for fun. His energy is as high as it's ever been. But with the bat, there's something that's gone completely wrong, and it is quite sad to see. But again, it's a catch-22 simply because, as you said, if they leave him, I mean, if he decides to take a break after the IPL, then there's going to be that whole country versus club debate. And look, there needs to be no restating about Virat Kohli's commitment to the country. There's no bigger drive for him at all than to represent the country. So that commitment shouldn't be questioned. But
And do
unfortunately,
you
even
think
if
he needs some technical fine tuning as Ashwini is calling out?
Definitely, because I think there was an analysis that was done by, I think it was by Nasser Hussain on Sky Sports when India was in England last year. That when England were actually here, he had a tete-a-tete with Nasser Hussain, and he said that my toe needs to be aligned towards point. That wasn't working out for me in 2014. And in 2017, he managed to correct that. And in 2018, we saw he scored almost 600 runs in England. But last year, he went back to that old technique and shades of him wafting outside the off stump came to the post. So I don't know why he reverted back in the first place. So I know that this is Test cricket and T20 that we're talking about, but the fact that he's gone back to something that never worked for him in the first place in England in itself was a sign that he needed to sort something out with his technique. And but the thing is that he was still looking in decent touch. He wasn't getting those hundreds, and those hundreds at the end of the day are the standards that he set for himself. But now he's just not looking in rhythm. And in fact, he started well. He played well against Punjab. He got that 48 against Mumbai, and it was a contentious LBW. But uske baad, I really can't understand how all of a sudden it's just gone downhill. So it's actually a very strange season so far as Kohli is concerned.
Absolutely, but let's not pin all the blame on Kohli. Kohli is one out of the 11 players, obviously one of the main players, but we'll talk about the entire team. Farhad, RCB stars, Kohli, Duplessis, Maxwell, today jointly getting out in 32 of 32. And as we speak of the number 32, there's another stat, which is that RCB has lost the most number of wickets, which is 32 wickets in the first 10 overs of the match. That is the most by any team this IPL. So Kohli ne aaj 9 run mare, Duplessis 23 and Maxwell getting on a first ball golden duck. So when your three stars do that, do you think there's any coming back?
I mean, there was a chance, to be honest. हमने I think RR और RCB के लास्ट मैच में ही यही टूर्नामेंट में देखा था how DK had turned things around. But DK को आप नंबर 7 पे डाल रहे हो यार. क्या बैटिंग हो रही है? क्या बैटिंग ऑर्डर? You're throwing in two youngsters in the middle in such a high pressure
Not even
situation.
two,
मतलब
Farhad. Actually, it's three. मतलब the RCB's
हाँ
uncapped
three.
middle order is Rajat Patidar, Shehbaz Ahmed, and Suyash Prabhu this side.
या एंड डीके को आप नंबर 7 पे कर रहे हो ऊपर से मतलब आई डोंट नो आज तो मेरे को टीम स्पिरिट की भी थोड़ी इशू हुई बिकॉज आई थिंक शाबाश शुड हैव सैक्रिफाइस हिज विकेट कम व्हाट वुड हैव हैपेंड आप रन ले लेते तो अलग बात थी बट शाबाश शुड हैव सैक्रिफाइस क्योंकि शाबाश आर नॉट गोइंग टू टेक हिम होम द टीम होम he struggled today and DK was the only guy who would have taken them close or even gone on to win the match but यार ये क्या मतलब मेरे को समझ ही नहीं आ रहा है यार कि बैटिंग ऑर्डर क्या है बीइंग मतलब थोड़ा बहुत भी मैं आरसीबी को सपोर्ट कर रहा हूँ तो आई एम एंग्री टुडे लुकिंग एट द बैटिंग ऑर्डर आपने वही गलती की है जो इंडिया ने की थी इन द सेमीफाइनल्स ऑफ द 2019 वर्ल्ड कप धोनी को नंबर 7 पे डाल के जरूरत नहीं थी यार व्हेन यू नो कि योर टीम ये क्या बात होती है कि फिनिशर ही होगा कल चेन्नई ने भी यही गलती की थी सेम थिंग एंड धोनी देन हर मैच में थोड़ी ना मतलब ही परफॉर्म यार मतलब ऐसा नहीं होता तो व्हेन यू नो कि योर टॉप ऑर्डर इज नॉट मतलब जल्दी आउट हुआ है तो थ्रो इन सम एक्सपीरियंस इन द मिडिल ना वो यू सी आउट द डिलीवरी मतलब ये तो ऐसा पीरियड हुआ था कि अटक ही गए थे दोनों
So
पतिदर
Surya,
और शाबाश
पहले 6-7
रोटेट भी नहीं
मैचेस
हो रहा
में
था
आरसीबी को इसी के लिए प्रेज मिल रहा था दैट डीके को फिनिशर की तरह यूज कर रहे हैं हिज रोल इज फिक्स्ड his role is very clear that why you bringing him out so late when you have such a huge uncapped middle order.
I have there are two ways of looking at it. I partially agree with what Parag mentioned about the uncapped players. I think they had Patidar and Shahbaz at one point, and probably Suyash after Patidar got out. So I think that's where
Yes.
the one player they actually spent a lot of money on because of what he brings with the bat has just not been utilized well enough, and that's Vanindu Hasaranga. I think RCB have actually got it spot on with their entry points for DK. Today, you could see that Sanju Samson very clearly held back UZ Chahal to have a go at Dinesh Karthik. And it's a different thing that he got run out, and even there, it was a very bizarre one at that. But I think if there's someone who can bat at number 3 and take on spin like what KS Bharat did in the UAE leg, it's Vanindu Hasaranga. So that bit of experience you're looking for. I mean, he might not have as much of batting experience at the international level, but he's capable enough of batting at 3 or 4. He's done it for Sri Lanka and England. He was pushed up the order and he rescued them in a one-day match. He did that in the World Cup against Ireland when they were 11 for 3 and I think in the company of either Patum Nisanko or Charit Asalanka. I'm not able to recollect that, but Hasaranga is that good. So I think he's the one they have not utilized well. And if they use him, because his ability to play spin is really
Well,
good, then
Surya, today Hasaranga was still
yeah,
sent above Harshal Patel. Usually Hasaranga is sent below Harshal Patel also.
that's
Today
where
he
they've got
was
it
sent above.
absolutely
There
wrong.
was sufficient overs. I agree. They've not utilized Hasaranga well with
And
the bat.
again,
Coming to
then what happens?
yeah.
Yeah, what I'm saying is
No,
again,
no,
you
please
can't
continue,
expect
please.
DK to bail you every single time.
Yeah,
Yes. So
you
Ashwin is
can't
also
expect everything.
saying that Hasaranga scored 95. He agrees. Surya, what you are saying, Hasaranga can bat. And Ashwini is also praising Farad because you can see the pain RCB fan has. And this is what this channel is all about. We want pure fan emotions to come out. So thank you. And Farhad good was Ashwin. You know, he did not have a good start to the tournament. People are saying he's bowling very defensive, bowling a lot of carom balls. Kuldeep Sen dropped for 2-3 matches, coming back today. These are the combined figures for both of them: 7.5 overs, 37 runs, 7 wickets. All good was both Kuldeep Sen as well as Ashwin.
I think what you said, he was receiving flack. Why was he receiving flack? Matlab, he was not bowling badly, right? I mean, he was not even being very expensive. He was being economical, and he didn't, matlab, necessarily need to,
Economical, but he was not getting those
even
wickets.
wickets नहीं भी मिल ठीक है फिर भी मतलब यू स्टिल हैव अदर विकेट टेकिंग बॉलर्स मतलब ऐसा कोई ये नहीं था कि विकेट उनका वो रोल होगा कोई बात नहीं बट टुडे बिकॉज द पिच हैड दैट बाउंस वो मतलब फिंगर स्पिनर का क्या होता है कि पड़ के चल चढ़ रहा था मतलब इट वाज यू नो मतलब बाउंस था विकेट में दैट्स व्हाई यूजी चहल जो था मतलब जो बहुत बढ़िया बॉलिंग की आज भी बट वो टर्न पड़ के वो टर्न हो रहा था तो दैट मोर ऑफन ही वाज बीटिंग द बैट एंड द स्टंप्स इसके लिए मतलब वो आज विकेट यूजी चहल को नहीं लेके गया और अश्विन का क्या पड़ के स्किड हो रहा था एंड बाउंस भी मिल रहा था उसको सो ही वाज वेरी इफेक्टिव आई थिंक द 3 विकेट्स दैट ही टुक इवन कुलदीप यार वो मैच विनिंग ओवर था वो
Yeah,
जो फैफ एंड इसको आउट किया था मैक्सवेल को
Maxwell.
अमेजिंग था मतलब हाँ इट मी नॉट फैफ का ठीक है यू कैन आर्ग्यू कि बहुत बढ़िया बॉल तो नहीं था but the field placings were perfect. At the end of the day, you got the 2 wickets, right? So, matlab, combined figures, I think 7 wickets liye for 37 runs is what I'm seeing on the screen. So, I think it was a job well done. I mean, and मैं एक और चीज बोलना चाहूंगा कि 3 ऐसी टीमें हैं एक आरआर एक हैदराबाद एसआरएच एंड एक गुजरात ये तीन के आप बॉलिंग उठा के देखिए मतलब बैटिंग नहीं तो ये लोग बॉलिंग के दम पे ये लोग मतलब आगे निकल रहे हैं एंड as compared to you see sides like Chennai or Mumbai who are really struggling in the bowling मतलब हर मैच में आप 200 खाते हो and you expect the batsman to मुंबई का है तो खैर बैटिंग भी नहीं चल रहा मुंबई is a different case altogether this
Let's not
IPL
go
but
there. Let's stay with the
yeah
current match today. So, Surya, we surely agree with what Farhad is saying that the bowlers did an amazing job. And Ashwini is also saying that today, after a long time, he saw Ashwin bowled well in T20. And his
hmm.
thinking and analysis, no one can doubt that. But it wasn't just coming up in the wickets column. Even that has been coming since the last 2 matches. But another thing which we realize is that Buttler is human. Even he can fail, and once he fails, Rajasthan is bound to struggle. So, what do you think about that?
Absolutely. I mean, this is not a completely well balanced Rajasthan Royals outfit, and we knew that after the auction. The thing is, they needed their specialists to fire, whether it was the UZ and Ashwin combination, or Trent Bolt and Prasidh Krishna, or with the bat, whether it was Josh Butler or Dev Dutt Padikkal, Hetmeyer, and Sanju Samson. Their specialists had to fire, and you know today was definitely going to be the big test for Rajasthan Royals because that law of averages was bound to catch up at some point of time with Josh Butler. But the fact that they won despite that is going to be a massive shot in the arm. I mean, they're going to feel extremely confident now going forward. And I think today was definitely, the day I can just see him giving his man of the match interview right now. And, it was Ryan Parag's day. And, not just that, I think he truly showed what he's capable of doing. He's come up clutch on a couple of run chases as well in the past. And today, he had that time. He had 10 overs. And you saw that he was very keen on throwing Shahbaz Ahmed out of the attack because he was the weakest link in the RCB attack. And he knew that, we have to go hard after him. and to take up that responsibility to soak in the pressure, but still keep it going and give your side a good total. I mean, I think it was a commendable innings, and two to sixes over extra cover. I mean, wow! I judge a player going by his a batter going by his offside skill. Those
Yep.
were two brilliant shots. I mean, Ryan Parag has been unfortunate. To barely got any kind of time. Even in the last two games, I don't think he got a chance to bat either. So,
Farhad,
but
do you agree with this? Has Riyan, like, if I don't count this innings, इस innings से पहले सब कहते हैं रियान पराग को drop करो. Why is he getting so much backing? You need to get someone else in. There's Neesham, there's Darren Mitchell, and today that backing paid off. So do you think it's just backing a long player, or is it just too much luck for Riyan Parag?
I mean, a bit of both. I mean, he's someone who has also been unlucky. मैं partly agree भी करता हूँ what Surya is saying कि बैटिंग बहुत लेट आती है, लेकिन when you pick someone for 8.5 crore, I think रायन पराग इतने पे गया था. uh,
4.75, 4.75.
ठीक है, 4.75. ठीक है, फिर भी यू स्टिल नीड टू डिलीवर द गुड्स एट नंबर 7, जो कि नहीं हो रहा था आज के पहले. आज ही प्लेड वेल, सो आई
Number
वुड से
six, मतलब नंबर 7 पे तो राजस्थान के लिए अश्विन आते हैं, so number 6 he bats up.
ठीक है नंबर 6, बट हाँ, बट स्टिल आई फील कि दिस माइट बी द स्टार्ट ऑफ समथिंग स्पेशल मे बी, बट वील हैव टू सी. आई मीन, आई ये आज के दम पे हम कंक्लूड कर दे कि ही इज बैक इन फॉर्म या ऐसे, इट विल बी लिटिल टू सून. आई फील लेट्स सी हाउ ही मैनेजेस इन द फ्यूचर, बट आज इनिंग्स जबरदस्त थी, ये तो मानना पड़ेगा भाई. इट वाज अ क्रिटिकल इनिंग्स, एंड उसके इनिंग्स आई थिंक बराबर ही थे. इफ यू सी हेड टू हेड, 17 ओवर में लगभग 110 थे दोनों, 7-8 विकेट्स. एंड वो दैट लास्ट ओवर चेंज्ड इट, 18 रन्स. तो
So
वो
Parag was
मतलब
surely
फर्क
the
डाला.
man of the today's match, catching 4 catches, getting Virat Kohli out, and that led to Rajasthan winning by 29 runs over
he makes catching
RCB.
so easy. I mean,
Yeah.
he's too good a fielder. And I think one
Yeah,
more thing about Parag is, you can judge a player going by his cricket skills, whether he's performing or not. The fact that, I think he's received a lot of unnecessary flack simply because he's a little, expressive on social media, etc. I mean, just judge a player going by his skills.
yeah.
And you saw
I
what he did.
absolutely agree. Surya, just the last question of the day. We all know that Hasaranga and Samson matchup is heavily skewed towards Hasaranga. Even in this season, he got Samson out both times. Even today, attempting the reverse sweep 2 times, getting out. What do you think is happening with Samson and Hasaranga?
That's the first match he chipped it back to him. I guess
Yeah,
he probably played on his mind today because when there was a wide half volley, you saw he went after him over extra cover in the power play. But after that, he started offering a solid defense. So you could see Samson knew that with Buttler gone, he has to take responsibility. And somewhere around, I feel he knew that Hasaranga has got the better of him. But I think that was the wrong choice of shot. That reverse sweep. Samson, someone who doesn't need to play it as well. He can just um,
yeah.
hit through the
Loft it
line and
over,
go
yeah, over
down the
covers
ground.
maybe.
So that was just poor shot selection, but he'll be happy at the end of the day that he got those 2 points.
Yes, Samson is Ashwin is saying that Samson is not a great player of spin. Yes,
I
Hasaranga,
respectfully disagree with that. I know Hasaranga's got the better of him, but Samson's one of the
and
finest
not
batsmen.
just this season, he's got him out 6 times, 5 times in the IPL, once otherwise. But another bowler getting backs in the wicket column was Mohammad Siraj. He'd been expensive so far, getting 2 wickets today. Hazelwood, as usual, very economical. Hazelwood and Hasaranga, total 8 overs, giving 42 runs. But Shaw gets the points, goes on top of the table, and they'd had a good auction. Everyone predicted this, but now going on top of the table that they can perform on paper. So thank you everyone. Thank you for tuning in, and do subscribe to Saza. Thank you Farad. Thank you Surya. Tomorrow we'll be back versus Hyderabad, another top 4 team clash. So an interesting clash coming up. On that note, thank you everyone. Do subscribe.